So leadership is an interpersonal influence directed towards the achievement of a goal or goals. So there are three parts which are very important to this definition. They are interpersonal, influence, and goal. So what is interpersonal? So leadership is actually between two or more people. Influence is the leader tries to influence the follower, and the goal is the leader and the follower are together trying to achieve a common goal. So it is essentially a kind of a influencing activity done by the leader towards the follower to achieve a particular goal. So here we'll see like what's the difference between a leader and a management. The leadership depends on acceptance authority. So only when a follower accepts that another person is a leader, the kind of a leadership gets involved. But in management, it's not so. In a company, it depends on the formal organizational authority. Whether you like or not, you have to follow what your boss says. But in leadership, it's not so. Only when you like the leader, you follow him. Followers' welfare is the primary concern. So the leader here focuses on the welfare of the follower. So there's always a give and take kind of a relationship between the leader and the follower. But in the management, it's not like that. In a company, it is always the welfare of the organization which is looked after. So your boss really doesn't care like what you like or you don't like. It's all about trying to do something which is good for the organization. Leadership is possible both in formal and informal organizations. So you can find a good leader in a formal organization like a company, or you can even find a leader in a kind of an informal setting. So something among your relatives, something among your friends. So even in an informal setting, you can find leaders. But management is possible only in formal organizations. So managers can exist only in formal kind of a setup. Followers work for a common goal and are motivated by passion, hence they work above their full capacity. So the leaders try to influence their followers, and the followers, based upon their passion and their motivation, they give more than what is actually possible from themselves. So in kind of a leadership situation, the followers give their best. In a company or in a management setting, subordinates work for money, personal commitments, and are forced by rules, regulations. Hence, they work below their full capacity. Here in a company, we don't usually find a lot of freedom and a kind of a supporting kind of a manager. So usually what happens in these kinds of company kind of a setup, we find that the people who are working under the boss or a manager usually work not to their full capacity. So this is the difference between the leadership and management. We can also find this kind of a difference. Usually managers do things right. So doing things right is actually the efficiency. So they are very fast, they are very quick, they can do it within a time limit. But leaders do the right thing. So it's not about the efficiency, it's about the effectiveness. So achieving the right goal, doing the right thing, striving for the common purpose. So it might take a longer time, it might look inefficient, but they do what is effective in nature. Managers try to maintain the status. So for them, it's about being the manager and they have some followers. But leaders are ones who try to change an existing setup. So they don't follow the rules and they usually try to break the existing rules also. Managers focus only on the short term. So managers have a target of 1 year target, 1 year budget, okay, or 1 year goals which they have to focus on. But leaders usually have a very long term orientation. So they have a span of even 5 years, 10 years, 15, or even sometimes like 50 years or even 100 years and beyond. So a leader like Abraham Lincoln had a vision of equality for the people in US. So that actually spanned over a period of even more than 100 years. Means the managers are only trying to solve the current problem here. Ends. They want to achieve the final goal. In the case of Abraham Lincoln, he wanted to end slavery and want to bring equality between black people and the white people. So it is about the end. Builders. So whatever leaders have created, managers can build it. So managers are only followers here. Okay, they are similar to a follower, but leaders are the ones who are spearheading the entire process. So that's again about managers are into problem solving and leaders are into inspiring and motivating people. So here we will go to the leadership styles. So there are actually 3 theories which are like available in the in usual textbooks. So we have the trait theory, style theory and contingent theory. So what is trait theory? This theory assumes that leaders are born and not made. There is no, so what this theory says is leaders are always born and you can never make a leader. You cannot, even if you give them training, even if you give them skills upgradation, whatever you do, you cannot convert a common person into a leader because leaders are always born. So this is a theoretical view. But there are like many problems here. There is no single definitive list of qualities as per this theory. So what are the qualities that a leader who is born has? We don't have a single list which says if a person has these qualities, we can call him as a leader. We don't have that kind of a single definitive list. But usually many people who study about leadership, they have said that these are the usual qualities a leader has: physical looks, intelligence, passion, emotional stability, open mind, trust and honesty, inner drive, vision and foresight, human relations, skill. So, but the problem is, as there is no single definitive list, you might think some of these points might not be correct. You might even create your own list. So there is no single definitive list here. So that's a problem with this theory. So what are the drawbacks of this theory? One is the list of traits which we've just spoken about. Every researcher has given his own list of traits which are different, vast and contradictory. So each person who researches about leadership gives his own set of list of what are the qualities of a leader. As the situations vary, the same leader who is effective in one situation might be ineffective in another. So even though when we can say that because of certain qualities we can call a person leader, the same leader might be effective in one situation but not in the other. Okay, it's a kind of a different thought. So we can take an example of Gandhi. Gandhi was successful in achieving independence through civil disobedience. So he is very famous throughout the world for his disobedience movement and for the peaceful movement that he did. But he himself has stated that he doesn't want to enter into politics because he is a person who is unsuitable for politics, like he itself has given a statement. So even though he was like really good in achieving the independence, he himself considered not to be a proper person in politics. So a person in one situation cannot be considered to do well in another situation. We will move on to the next theory, style theory. Style theories assume that there are fixed style in which a leader uses to influence his followers. So style theory says that every person, you or me, every person, we have a unique style of our own. Okay, we have a unique style of our own, but that style might not be like suitable in a particular situation. So what style theory says is we can improve our leadership model. Ashridge model is one among the many models of style theories. It has 4 models within that. So there are like 4 different types of managers, we can say. So one type of manager is called as a tell manager. What is a tell manager is? He is a manager or he is a leader who takes all the decisions by himself and just tells the subordinates what they have to do. Okay. This kind of a leadership is useful in repetitive jobs or in blue collar jobs and even in crisis times because there's no time to be wasted. So there this kind of a tell model works properly. Okay, but the problem is this does not motivate employees in the long run. It's not a very successful model to motivate people. So the leader decides everything and he just tells his subordinates what has to be done. That's called as a tell model.
So if you guys really like the video, put a like for us and share it with your friends who might find it useful.
So if you guys have any queries or questions, post it in the comment section. We'll be like happy to answer them. The next model is called as a cell model. Here the leader or the manager makes the decision by himself, but he feels that the subordinate should be told why they are doing the work as he has instructed. So he has made the decision, but he just explains why they have to follow this decision. There is no subordinate participation here, only persuasion. So the subordinate cannot give any ideas like, sir, can we do this kind of a job? Shall we do it in this model? He can't say anything. He just have to follow what the leader or manager says. Whether subordinates likes or not, he has to comply. So that's about the model. This model doesn't motivate the subordinates, but at the same time, it's not as bad as the tell model. So we'll move on to the next model called as a consult. Here, the leader consults all the subordinates but makes the final decision himself. This encourages the employees but takes a long time to reach the decision. So here he speaks with other subordinates, then he arrives at the decision, but the final decision is actually taken by the leader only. So as it seems to be a democratic process, it might take some kind of a longer time to reach a decision. And the last one is joins. The decision is formed on the basis of consensus. This encourages the employees and makes him to commit to the goal. This approach takes a long time to reach the decision. Here, the decision is made only by the subordinates. The subordinates think, they speak, they discuss, and finally they say that, okay, this is our goal and this is what we want to do. And then they communicate it to the leader or the manager. So it's created on the basis of consensus. So which model do you think employees will prefer? Think about it. We'll see the answer for it. So the outcome of the model, okay, this has been researched with people, and they have found out that subordinates prefer the consult approach, okay, where the manager consults with the employees but takes a final decision. People lead by a consult manager are committed, so they like the consult approach. Most managers follow tell or sell approach, so that is not an effective approach actually. More than anything, subordinates prefer a stable approach. What subordinates want is, they don't want a kind of a psychoic manager or a leader. They don't want him to behave one time at tell or one time at joins or one time at consults. Okay, he has to follow a leader or a manager should follow a particular style. So that's what the subordinates prefer, a stable approach. So we'll move on to the contingency theories. So this is the most contemporary or a recent theory. It says that there is no best way to organize a corporation, to lead a company, or to make decisions. So it says that there is no one way or there is no one style, okay, where we can be the most effective kind of a leader or a manager. The manager or leader has to be flexible in changing himself according to the situation. So in certain areas you have to be strict, in certain times you have to be lenient. So it's only based upon the situation you have to change. That is what it's called as a contingency. Contingency means like based upon the situation you have to change yourself. A contingent leader effectively applies their own style of leadership to the right situation. So their own style of leadership to the right situation. One of the famous theory among the contingency theory is John Adyer's action-centered leader. This is a very famous theory here. We will just discuss it. So John Adyer, okay, he had made some research and he has found out that how to, if you are an effective leader, how you can make your followers or your subordinates to effectively work. He found that there are like 3 elements which are involved in getting the best work out of people. So one is called as the individual, second is called as a team, and the third is called as a task. So an individual is like all subordinates, each and every subordinates. So each and every subordinate is a person. He has his own personal life, his career, and his own physical and mental strengths and weakness. So each and every person is unique. Team is all these subordinates and individuals come together and they are called as a team. Why they have formed as a team? To get the task done. So if you want to be an effective leader, you have to focus on all the three things simultaneously. So assume that you have a task, okay, you want to create a website, okay, and to create a website you have some 5 people in your team, and each 5 people are individual people, individual humans here, okay. So assume that if out of the 5 people, okay, 2 people have some personal problem at home. See, so the manager has to think about their personal problems and then tell the team of the other 3 people to put in some more effort so that the other 2 people can take some kind of a off from the work. So once these 3 people put in more extra time, okay, then the task might get completed. But what would happen if he has not taken this approach? If he says whether you have personal problem or not, you 2 people plus the 3 other people should work as a team, okay, no leave, no nothing, personal problem you go and face it at your home, okay, now work, come and work here. What would happen to your team's motivation here? The 2 people who have personal problems, they will speak with the other team people, so the entire team might think that this manager is a very task oriented kind of a idiot, so they will feel that we shouldn't work up to the capacity or something, we'll just try to meet the goal of it, that's it. So even though they will try to achieve the task, the quality of achieving it might go low, okay. So that's one problem. Or the other problem is with the team, okay. So assume that all the 5 people are really good, but they're not mingling as a team, they're not coming as a team. So the manager has to speak to the team saying that why they have to come together and how they are going to achieve the task, okay, and what's their personal benefit they are going to get. So even though they are individuals, he focuses on the team and gets the work done based upon achieving the task. So he has to focus on the team. So even look here, there are individuals, the manager brings them all them together, individual people together, and tells them why they have to work, and finally gets a task done. Or if the task is very tough, okay, then the manager should motivate the team and also speak to each of them individually saying why the task is like very important, okay. So at any point of time you might think that you should feel that a manager should focus on all the 3 elements simultaneously. So he can't focus on just one of it, okay. A manager should not keep focusing on only on the task, then the 2 things will break up. If you focus only on the team, then the task won't be done. If you focus on only on the individual people, they won't mingle as a team and they won't achieve the task. So you have to focus on all the 3 things. So this approach, action-centered leadership, is centered on the actions of the leader. So you have to take a proper action. The leader has to balance the needs from each of the 3 elements. The effective leader is the one who keeps all the 3 in balance, that is, who attends to all 3 at the same time. If anyone is ignored, the others are unlikely to succeed. So the 3 items are interrelated. So this is a very good theory. When you write an exam, you can apply this kind of a model whenever there is a problem in terms of people, task, and individuals. So this is a nice model to apply. So whatever we've explained, that is in terms of words. So a good leader should focus on the task, should communicate to the people, should make a proper plan. He has to get the resources, he has to progress how people are moving. A feedback is required and a review plan is required. So you don't need to mug up all these things, okay. So you have to mug up the 3 elements there, but not these things. So we'll move on to this one, leadership appropriate to manage change. So assume that your company is undergoing a change, okay. People need training, some of them are we have to cut the jobs. Which kind of an approach would work well? So there are like usually 3 models which are there. One is autocratic, the leader alone takes all the decisions. Laissez-faire, the leader doesn't take any decision, he just gives it to the subordinates to take the decision and just communicate it to him. Or democratic, all of them sit and speak together, and finally the best decision is being given to the leader or the manager. Which one do you think will be appropriate in terms when things are undergoing a change in a company? So the theory says that democratic is the one which might work. Autocratic will work in terms of very crisis situation, but when we are not facing that kind of a crisis situation, democratic might work well. So if you guys really like the video, put a like for us and share it with your friends who might find it useful. So if you guys have any queries or questions, post it in the comment section. We'll be like happy to answer them. If you guys have any other ideas for further videos, you can put it in the comment section. We'll be like creating a new video on that topic also. So thank you guys. We'll meet in the next video.